Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. Here we are, another Friday, another week, a day before my B-Day. Yes, and I said B-Day. Let's keep it clean. So, if anything, what we're going to be doing tonight is a little more algebra review. So, it's a whole little collective of algebra that we can actually sit down, break it down step by step, and then we'll take it further. All right. Oh, don't know what's going on here. There we go. All right. So, as you guys are coming on in, here is your first question. And if you can, go ahead and start tapping away. I just want to give you a little sampler just to see if, hey, are you ready to do some math? Or are you just like, I just kind of want to see what it's all about. So this is basically what we're doing. So we are continuing on our path with the algebra review. So I want you to solve x squared minus 3x minus 10 equals 0. So if you're going to ask, yes, it is on the GED. Yes, it is on the ASVAB. Yes, it is definitely on the ACCUPLACER. Yes, ACT, SAT, PSAT, anything from A to Z. If it's algebra, guess what? It's on the test. So come on in. Do not fear. Do not be afraid. You're going to have to tackle it anyway. All right, so hello, Kelly. Hello, is that Snicker? Okay, hey, Wade. Hey, D, how are you? All right, so Wade is saying our answer is -2 with the C. Do we agree? Hey, Wallace, how are you? Welcome on in. I want to say Kasia, if I'm saying it correctly. Okay, is that Submit? Submit saying yes. Okay, so breaking it on down. Go ahead and keep on tapping so we can keep on moving. So this is how we're going to get it done. First off, we need to factor it. Anytime it gives me a square as my exponent, that means I need to factor it into two simplified parentheses and have them equal to 0. So since we're only looking for one of the solutions right away, since my leading coefficient is 1, I'm going to split the x's. So now, this is the toughest part. What two numbers multiplied together will give me a -10 and add together to give me a -3? All right. So since we have that -10 and that -3, I'm seeing a 5 and 2. But which one's going to carry the negative? It's going to be the 5. Because -5 times +2 gives me -10. And -5 plus 2, that gives me a -3. So just by looking right away at my answer choices, I know 10 is out because we factored it. We don't have any 1s because that's done. So now we're down to either -2 or +2. And if you're like, oh, it's +2 because of this right here, remember, we want to know what x is. We don't want to know what x plus 2 is. So in order for us to find it, I need to go through with the operation. So I need my subtracting 2, because that's the only way I can get my x by itself. 0 minus 2, that gives me a -2. So my answer is actually going to be the -2. Okay, we don't need to worry about the x minus 5 because it says it only wants one solution. They didn't want both of them. They just wanted one. Now, when it comes to a lot of these standardized tests, they just want their answer. Okay, they're not going to collect your sample or your scrap sheet of paper to see what your work is. That's what they do in the classroom. But when it comes to the GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, they're not going to do any of that. All right. Let's get with the next one. Try and get myself all nice and organized here. All right. Thank you for checking in. I'm not sure who did. Hey, Shells, how are you? Yes, and anyone that has done the subscription, I just found out today that they are no longer holding the subscriptions. They're switching it over to what's called a super fan. Okay? Same things, but now I can actually do my isolated, instead of making it a live event, I can make it a super fan only live. Learned a little bit of something today. So if you really want to be in the super fans, go ahead and just click, and you can go to all my fans, can switch over to super fans if they would like. So now we're solving 2x squared minus 5x equals 0. And now they're saying the solutions are, so they want I should say all two, but both of the solutions. Reason why I know there's two solutions, because my highest degree is to the second power. So I'm actually going to have two solutions. So is it A, x equals 0? Is it B, x equals 0, x equals 5? C, 0, x equals negative 5? D, x equals 0, or x equals 5 halves? So how do I tell if it's a negative number or just being subtracted in the equation? Subtractions and negatives are very similar, Miss Wallace. Okay? They're very similar. So it's almost like saying, how do you know to turn right when you turn right? It's basically you're still turning right. Okay? This is exactly what you're doing in Algebra 2. Awesome. Okay. Okay. Yep, I just used my phone. Wade. Okay. Okay, Elijah's saying keep change flip. I'm getting some D's. Some D's on this. Sorry. Fernando saying A. Okay, Joseph saying D's. Good. I want to make sure I got everyone. And if you have a question, hey Lisa, how are you? All right. So any more answers? Now remember, if you don't, just like, I'm a little stuck. Remember, question marks are answers as well. Okay? You want to interact and you're like, I don't want to feel dumb, put a question mark there. Okay, because I bet you the answer that you have was probably either close or definitely the answer. Okay, so let's see. All right, thank you for your honesty. Good. Hey, nurse. What's going on, Blessaria? It's happening. Okay, so going into factoring. Good. We have 2x squared minus 5x equals 0. So right here, we have to see, do we have a GCF? Okay? Do we have something in common? Well, if I look at the numbers, the coefficients, I have 2 and 5. The only thing they have in common is 1, if you think of their factors. The only time you can see a 2 is either 1 times table or the 2 times table. And the only way you can see a 5 is in the 1 times table or the 5 times table. So the only thing that they both had in common was the 1 times table. But now I have two x's here, x times x. I have 1x there. So they both have 1x in common. So when we have that 1x in common, we're going to factor that bad boy out. So when we factor it out, we're going to take this x and divide it by everything that's inside. So we can put what's inside. So 2x to the second power. So if we have 2x's here, we took 1 out. That means we only have 1x left. Bring down our minus sign. So we have 5x. We took one of the x's out. There was only 1x to be there in the first place. So that means we're bringing down the minus 5. So from here, we have two different factors. One of the factors is x equals 0. The other factor is 2x minus 5 equals 0. So we knew that x equals 0 is going to be one of them because all of them had it as the answer choice. So now we're coming over here. We're going to add 5 on both sides. So just the fact that I see a 2x and I see a 5, that's telling me we got a fraction going on here. But let me prove it to you. So 0 plus 5 gives me 5. Then I bring down my 2x. Divide both sides by 2. The reason why I'm doing this is so I can get x by itself. So 2x divided by, or 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. And I could just simply bring down the x because the 1 is understood to be in front of the x. And then you keep it as your 5 halves. You don't have to change it to a decimal because do we have any decimals in our answer choices? Nope. Answer is D. Okay. Yep. This is definitely in the ASVAB. This is in the GED. This is in current algebra classes. This is in the ACCUPLACER. This is like every standardized test. And some people are doing these things, factors in their classes now. Okay. If you're taking college algebra at the college level, you're looking at this as well. You either did this last week or you're doing it this week. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's get with the next one. So we need to simplify and reduce. Okay, so if you're currently in college algebra, right now you haven't got to this, but I'm going to take you through it step by step because factoring is still a main piece in it. Although it's in a fraction form, you still have to factor. Okay, and the reason why, anytime I see to the second power, that's triggering me. That's telling me I need to do some kind of factoring. Okay, so I'm doing the distributive property in reverse. Okay. Okay. So Logan's asking, where did the x go outside? It's right here. X equals 0. So you set both terms equal to 0. Okay. 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 So here we go. We have 3x squared minus 12 divided by 9x plus 18. Okay. Hey. So here's the thing. Anytime you see this square, like I said, you should be factoring. But you should always ask yourself, do I have a GCF? Now, GCF means the greatest common factor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on one thing at a time. Because everyone tries to solve it all at once and then you wonder why everything gets all screwy. So if I cover this part up, I have my 3x squared minus 12. I know if I go here, what does 3 and 12 have in common? Okay, so what does 3 and 12 have in common? I know the multiples or the factors of 3 is 1 and 3. The factors of 12 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. But what do they all have in common was the 3. Yes, it can't be the 4 because the 3, in order for you to get the 3, is only 1 and 3. So the only thing that they have in common is your 3. This one has an x squared. This one doesn't have any x's. So I don't have any x's in common. The only thing I have in common is this 3. So in order for me to figure out what's going to go inside of this parenthesis, I need to take my original and divide each of these terms by 3. So 3 divided by 3, that will give me a 1. There's an x squared. We don't have any x's taken out, so that means the x squared comes on down. Then we have a negative 12. And there's a lot of people who say, well, it's a minus sign. Yes. And it's negative? Yes. Okay. Your minus sign is acting as a negative with this 12. Okay. It's almost like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So we have negative 12 divided by 3. That gives me a negative 4. Okay. Now, if you know anything about factoring, okay, we have what's called perfect squares. So we have a 1, we have an x squared, and we have a 4. So what I'm going to do is, and since it's minus, most of you might recognize it, especially if you're taking like Algebra 2, maybe late Algebra 1. If you haven't seen this in forever, just sit back and relax and enjoy. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep that 3 on the outside, but we're going to create 2 more parentheses because this can be broken down. So first off, if I take the square root of x squared, that will give me x. So I'm splitting my x's. 4, that's a perfect square root. If I do the square root of 4, that will give me 2, because 2 times 2 will give me 4. But we're not looking at a whole number of 4 or a positive 4. We're looking for a negative 4. So in order for it to be negative, one of my 2's have to be positive and the other one has to be negative. Okay, good. All right. So this is what's called factored completely. I can't go any further than this. But now I need to take a look at my denominator. I'm going to try to cover up here. Oh. Trying to get paper on here. This is all kinds of fun. Take it out. All right. So now we're going to focus on this 9x plus 18. So yes, it doesn't have a square, but I noticed that 9 and 18, they're multiples. They're multiples of 9 or factors of 9. So my GCF for my denominator is going to be 9, because 9 times 1 gives me 9 and 9 times 2 gives me 18. So since there's an x here, but there isn't an x there, there's no x's in common. So let's factor it. So we're going to divide the original with the GCF. So 9x divided by 9, that gives me 1x. And a positive 18 divided by 9, that gives me a positive 2. See, this one was a lot easier. Okay? This one's a lot easier. Okay. All right. So now we have our numerator, we have our denominator. So let me slide over and rewrite. So my numerator is 3 parenthesis x plus 2, x minus 2. So that's what we got when we factored. Our denominator is our 9 parentheses x plus 2. Do you see something? Because this is division. We can do some kind of canceling out. What can we cancel out? I choose Dolly. Okay, what are my like terms? Good, we got x plus 2's, x plus 2's, x plus 2's, x plus 2's, excellent. The x plus 2's, x plus 2's, nice. And we can simplify, who's that, Gmit-tick, yeah, you, 0, 1. Good job with the 9, with the 3 and the 9. So we have our x plus 2 and our x plus 2. When you get the same thing, one in the numerator, one in the denominator, they can cancel out. But we also have the whole numbers. Whole numbers we can actually simplify. So 3 and 9, they both have 3 in common. There we go, Miss Cosmetics. So 3 divided by 3, that turns that 3 into a 1. And 9 divided by 3, that turns that 9 into a 3. Okay? So now we just need to figure out what we have left over. Well, we have a 1 times x minus 2. Well, 1 times anything is itself. So basically we have x minus 2 in the numerator, and then what's left in the denominator is my 3. So then we go to our happy little home. Then we have 2x, or x minus 2 over 3. So it's not this, it's not this. These are close, but this is our answer, which is D. Okay, so when you take these exams, I'm letting you know, not just because you're in the classroom, any kind of exam, okay, there's going to be some problems that you know right off the top of your head, and you can get it done in less than 10 seconds. But there's going to be some problems that you're like, wait a second, you got your nerves acting, you got to calm yourself down and take it step by step and piece by piece. Regardless if you get regular time or extended time, you still have to take your time with some of the problems, especially SAT. Because SAT loves to have you think outside the box. They love to give you extra stuff that you really don't need. I love when they give you a novel as thick as this, and all of a sudden it just asks, what's the y-intercept? And they already gave you the equation in the very beginning. Really? I didn't have to do all that reading. All I had to do was just find the y-intercept. That's what was going on. Okay. All right. So a lot of people always ask, what grade is this? This is algebra. And I can't say a grade because I have a student that's in 6th grade that's taking Algebra 1 right now. Tutoring. Okay, so I shouldn't go by grades. This is just basically Algebra 1 review, and we're just hitting hard on these concepts because you can use it for all of the standardized tests. All right, so this one, not a great question. You're going to probably have to zoom in on your camera because you're probably like, I'm blind. Yep. How different countries do it? Yes, I know. Sorry. Linear systems. I'm actually going to have a couple system of equations going on in here. All right, so I'm going to read it to you, especially for the people there in the back. Given the equation, negative 2x plus 3y equals 12, find the missing value of the order pair negative 3, comma, blank. So let me rewrite. Because we have our formula at negative 2x plus 3y equals 12. And they want you to find the missing y coordinate. Okay, so the equation and what's inside the parenthesis is the coordinate, and they want you to find this missing y coordinate. This is the equation. So is it A, -6, B, -2, C, +6, or D, +2? Okay, got a couple C's, got a couple D's. I have some 2's. I have D's. I have thrilled with D. You took your T's yesterday. Lovely. Little celebration. I love how this TikTok slow down. Hottie. Everyone, give a little praise right now for this hottie. Yes! Pass her T's test with flying colors. Love it. Go ahead, give her a little shout out. Go ahead. Good job. So proud. Jenny, she's in here. Yes. Who's Kaylee? Yes. How you doing? So I'm seeing D's. I'm seeing D's. I'm seeing D's. Okay, seeing Melly Mel. D's. Yes. D's. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for her. Michael, welcome in. Welcome back. All right. Good. Yes. Little celebrations, guys. Every time. Patrick saying A. K. Is that your saying? A saying? Okay, we're great. Bri, really? Just said this? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for answering for me. Yes, no grade. Thank you. 00, I appreciate this. This is a blessing. Good. All right, so when they give you a question like this, was Calc AB? God bless you, Devin. Can't do that. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. So what they did, they give you the equation. They gave you the x, all right? Remember, it's just like the alphabet, x then y. So all you had to do was to plug in the -3 for the x. And then you were going to solve this, the rest of this equation for y. Okay? So then we had a negative times a negative gives me a positive. So that's a +6 plus 3y is equal to 12. So if we had to subtract 6 on both sides, I'm going to take it to the other side because I'm running out of room. Okay. So if I do that, I have 6 minus 6, so that gives me 0. I don't need to put the 0 as a placeholder because I still have that 3y. I'm just going to carry it up here just in case you're wondering, what is she doing? And then you have 12 minus 6, that gives me 6. Then if you divide both sides by 3, you see that your y is going to be a +2. Okay, so your answer choice was D. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yes, I do, Cold World. Actually, I just updated my Service Plus button, so if you click on that, it will give you all the information that you need to reach out to me. You can send me a message. You can do all of that. Hello, Peter. How are you? Okay. Need to relearn math? Hey, that's fine. Okay. Plug in the order pair. Reading. I'm just coming in. So did you plug in the order? Yes, I did. Who is this? That just said they just came in. Oh, gorgeous. Hi, girl. Hello, gorgeous. Yes, so what they did was they gave you the order pair. They gave you the x value. All you have to do is plug that in for the x, and then you just go ahead and do what you need to do with the inverse of your operations to find your y. Okay, all right. I'm doing all right. Coming to grips that I'm going to be a year older tomorrow. But, you know. Yes, I do, Stephanie. Yes, I do. And actually, I have the link I added to my Service Plus, which is a button at the very bottom. And I add that on there. Hey, new follower. No problem. There you go. Well, thank you, Applesauce. How are you? Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate it. You know, It happens. We all get older. I don't know about wiser. Well, I'm a wise ass, but I don't know. I don't know about everything else. All right. So let's get with this one, and then we'll check on how we're doing tapping wise. You're pushing 40. Please. I already surpassed that. I turned 40, and a week later I got married. And at 50 I got divorced. Well, 51. But you know. All right. So what are the coordinates of the x-intercept in the graph below? Okay. What are the coordinates of the x-intercepts? Let me zoom in this graph below. What's the coordinates of the x-intercept? So I'm just going to write x-intercept right here with a question mark, because that's what we're looking for. So is it A, B, C, or D? For your GED? Awesome. Okay. Good. We got some C's, we got some B's, we have some D's, we have some C's. Okay. You have? What do you have? Okay, so I see B's. Now I'm seeing some C's. Okay. So we got Devo with the C's, a whole bunch of C's, a whole bunch of people. Yes. Say C all the way. I love that. C, by the way. Let's go. X-intercept is where your line crosses the x-axis. So it's crossing right here at -2. Now remember, when you do order pairs, it's your x value, then your y value. So if it's hitting the x here at -2, that means the -2 is coming first. Okay? So it can't be B. And our y's are up and down. But since it's not moving up or down, all we did was start at the origin, move to the left 2. We didn't move up or down. So that will be 0. So our x-intercept is when our y values are 0. So that can be like a quick way to answer this question. Once I hear the word x-intercept, I'm thinking my y value has to equal 0. So let me go to the order pair. Let me look at my y's. Bum, bum, bing. There it is. That's 0. That's my x-intercept. If they said y-intercept, that's when your x values are equal to 0. There you would have had 2 choices. Okay? All right. So that's just a quicker way of getting, especially if it's multiple choice. That's you for GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, T's test. What's the other one? HESI. Also the IBEW for electrician's apprentice. There's algebra in that. If you want to be a mason, that's a lot of algebra in that one as well. Okay? Every test, I'm telling you, nowadays it seems like everyone has to take some form of algebra. And we're all sitting here saying that, oh, I don't use it, but you need it in order to get in. Okay? You got to learn to play their game, guys. Got to learn to play their game. Okay? So, depending on what test, depending on what you want to do. Okay? All right. So, let's see how we're doing. There is 576 in here. Okay? Right now, we're at 8K. We should be at 15. Okay? We really should be at 15, if not 20. Let's see if we can get to 15, and then I'll continue on. All right? So, while you guys are tapping, I'm going to see what kind of questions you guys have. Just take algebra class, and I think algebra 2 classes during high school. Yep, you probably did, because it depends on what year you graduated. If you graduated in the early 2000s or even mid 2000s, like 10 years ago, that's when they decided to make algebra 2 a graduation requirement. Before that, you just needed geometry, and you just probably took some other class like maybe statistics. And even that statistics was just basic statistics. You didn't even get the standard deviation. You just basically did a whole lot of spinners, flipping a lot of coins, taking some tallies, and just working with mean median mode for like a semester. Yep. So a lot of this. Yep. And the y-intercept, yes. Who asked that? Yep. Gaul just asked it. Yep. The y-intercept would be 1. Okay. So Chicago public school, high school test. Yeah. You need to know this. Every high school, you need to know this. Pre-med majors need some help and some advice. I don't know about pre-med. Okay. You had Algebra 2. Oh, yeah. So it was definitely longer. Oh, my gosh. What am I talking? 10 years? Ooh. I shouldn't even be talking 10 years. That's like 20, because this is going on 2000. Oh, my God. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'm depressed now. Keep on tapping, guys. I was like, man, I'm sitting here talking 10 years ago. Let's try 20 years ago. To Z. Yes. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot Elba. Happy birthday to Elba. Elba Rosa Hernandez. Make sure you guys say happy birthday to her as well. I know. What are you doing? You're doing what? Math. That's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Gave up so much. Yes. Sexy TT. Sexy T. Go ahead and do that, girl. Be sexy and smart, too. Come on. You can do it. And I'm telling you, a lot of you guys feel that math, it's like you're taking the ACCUPLACER 47. Good job, Lisa. I love that. You graduated in 2020. I think everybody, I know, shoot, it's so crazy. Everybody was graduating 2020. What, from your cars and all that stuff? That's so sad. It was so sad. Do I think financial... Ooh, sorry. Someone asked a question about financial math. Where is it? Oh, Milo. Do I think financial math is harder than statistics and probability? It depends on the person. I have to say it's going to really depend on the person. Because if you're really interested in how money moves and how people make things and switch things around, I would take the financial math because then you can apply it more so, the everyday stuff. But depending on probability and statistics, yeah, it depends on the person. Me personally, I'd rather do financial math. That's just me. Okay. Leonard took algebra. Yes. Leonard took mine yesterday. I was 7 points from passing. Okay. There you go. Thank you, gorgeous. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. When I needed you. I don't know. I feel like I'm everywhere right now. Okay. Now, see, that's the one thing. When you take the GED, okay, when you take your GED, that's it. Anyone else get anxiety with math? Thank you for saying that, because everyone does. We all have been, thank you so much for the tapping. We have all been in a situation where math has taken over. And I think it's all because of the presentation of it. When you were younger, you probably had a teacher that was fearful of math as well, especially in the younger years. Or you might have a teacher that knew the math, but just didn't know how to break it down to you. And then plus, you were younger, you weren't ready, and it was perfectly fine. So now everyone has that math phobia of like, oh, I hate math, because I was the same way. I shared that with one of my students last night, and she looked at me like I had 20 heads. I'm like, yeah, I sucked at math when I was a kid. When they started putting letters and numbers, I was like, why? Why are we doing this? Was terrible at it. Fractions, nope. Word problems, hell no. Couldn't understand any of it. Because I was like, why does somebody need so many damn watermelons? Like, that's what I kept thinking about every time. So it's a matter of practice, and it's a matter of having someone just to kind of take our time. Okay, Alex, you need some practice? Well, then hire me, boo. Shoot, what are you doing? Everybody want everything for free. Come on, shucks, because that's what I'm going to be doing. All right, let's go. 31, solve and simplify if possible. So we have x squared over x minus 3 minus 9 over x minus 3. Okay? One thing. Anytime we're adding and subtracting fractions, we need to have a what? Okay? We need to have a what? So to Jesus, I have it in my Service Plus. If you just click on the Service Plus, all your answers will be there. Yes, common denominator, same denominator, common denominator. There we go. I know, it's a lot of typing. Common denominator. Good job, Mo. Common denominator. Yes. So we need to have a common denominator, and we have that. But just because it's not a single number, it doesn't mean it's not a common denominator. So when I combine those two, I'm still going to have x minus 3 as my denominator. But what happens in my numerator is I have x squared minus 9. So my denominator, I'm not going to do anything. But my numerator, we have that exponent of 2. Anytime I see that exponent of 2 right away, I'm thinking, do I have a GCF? Well, I don't have a GCF, but I do have the difference of squares. That means the number in front of this x squared, that's a 1. That's one of those perfect squares. That x squared, that's a perfect square. And that 9, that's a perfect square. So what I can do is break them up into their own parenthesis. So we have x minus 3. I'm going to split my x's. So there's an x here and there's an x here. So if I take the square root of 9, very good, I'm going to get a 3 and a 3. Because 3 times 3 gives me 9. But I'm looking at a negative 9. So that means one of these 3's is going to be positive. The other 3 is going to be negative. What do we notice? Okay. Jax, don't be sad. Because here's my thing. We're going to take things step by step here. Okay, I've done some other videos that takes me to the basics and have a slight build up. Okay, so I'm going to explain after 2 problems what's going on. Yes, so we can cancel out. Good, cancel out. We got x minus 3. Cancel out the x minus 3. Yes, so you have x minus 3 in the numerator. You have x minus 3 in the denominator. Then what's left? There's nothing in the denominator, so we don't have to worry about the fraction anymore. But what's left is our x plus 3, because that's what's left up here in this numerator. So our answer is going to be C. Okay. Yeah. It's confusing when you're talking about taxes and home, and it's also intimidating. Like, we in the United States, we make taxes so blessed confusing, it doesn't need to be this damn confusing. I used to live in other countries, and I'm like, it's that simple? And you have insurance? Oh, you don't have to pay extra? Like, that's part of your tax? Oh. And you never heard of people paying a $10,000 bill for giving birth to a baby? It's expensive to give birth to a baby, you know? I'm telling you. It's scary. But here we are. Here we are. All right, so this one, just in case you can't read it, let me read it for you. Solve the following system of equations for the y value. Okay, look at your answer choices. That means they want us to solve it for y. So if you want to eliminate anything, you want to eliminate your x's. There's your hint. So you can do it quicker and to the point. How do I go from a negative to a positive? A negative times a negative gives me a positive. Oh, I know. It's a shocker. Yeah. Trig is a disaster for you. Okay, quite hard. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Hey, Danny, how are you? All right. So, system of equations. How do you guys feel? Yes, I do tutor middle school students, especially 7th grade on up. Okay. Gigi, how are you? Okay. So, system of equations. How do you guys feel about it? Hey, D Crown. Oh, thank you, Sexy. Well, come on in. Where can you find my schedule? You can actually message me if you hit the Service Plus. I have all information there as well. Any kind of test that's taking algebra, there's algebra in it, I tutor it. Okay? I don't want to sit here and say I'm the algebra queen because that's a little crazy. Okay, do I trig? Yes, I do. I do trig. I do all algebra. A little bit of geometry. College algebra. I just don't do calculus. Pre-calculus I can do. All right. Statistics, not my jam. I can take you to a certain point, then I'm going to have to leave you. Okay. All right. So we could do that, Jenny. We could make life a little bit easier for you. Okay. So it's like we could go solve this for x. Yeah, why not? We'll do it both ways. If we take this first equation, which the equation says x plus 2y is equal to 7. So we can solve this equation for x. All we have to do is subtract the 2y on both sides. I know there's another way of doing this, guys. Relax. So we have our x equals, now we have our negative 2y plus 7, or if you did 7 minus 2y, that's fine as well. So what you're going to do with this expression right here is we're going to take this expression and we're going to substitute in to the second equation for x. The reason why you're doing that is it says x equals. So you're saying, hey, x equals this. Now you're going to take this whole expression and you're going to plug it in and replace the x. So it's going to look like this. So we have, into my green, we have 2 parentheses plus 2y equals 13. And we're going to plug in that negative 2y plus 7 inside that parenthesis. Okay. All right. So if we want, which we are, let's distribute everything. I'm going to show you both ways, and you get to pick which way. So you have 2 times negative 2y, that gives you negative 4y. And 2 times positive 7, that gives you a plus 14. And we're going to bring down the plus 2y equals 13. Now, if you notice, the y's are on the same side of the equal sign, okay? This is a negative 4. This is a plus 2. You owe me $4. You paid me $2. That means you still owe me $2. Okay? So we're trying to solve for y. So now from here, we're going to subtract that 14 because we want to isolate that negative 2y. I'm going to take it over here a little bit. I'm going to take my answer up here just to give myself some room. So we have negative 2y equals 13 minus 14. You owe me $14. You gave me $13. That's a good thing. That's why it's a positive. So you still owe me $1. Now, I want to get y by itself. So negative 2y, that is the same as saying negative 2 times y. The inverse of times is division. Divide both sides by negative 2. We finally get y by itself. And a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive 1/2. Okay. All right. Thank you, Danny. I know, right? So impatient. I'm telling you. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So this is done by using substitution. Okay. So if you see one of your original variables not with a number next to it, you can solve it for that variable and then plug it into the other equation to solve. Another way of doing it, and I'm going to put it on my single sheet of paper right here as soon as I finish copying. So another way of doing it is called elimination. Okay, so let me show you on this piece of paper. So they want us to solve for y. So life would be easier if I eliminated my x's. Yeah, that's a life lesson. But anyway, back to the math. So we have 1x and we have 2x. It will be nice if I can change that 1 that's in front of this x into like a negative 2. The reason why I'm saying a negative 2, because negative 2 plus 2 will give me 0, and my x's will immediately be gone. But here's the thing. I can't just multiply this by negative 2. I got to multiply the whole entire equation by negative 2. This is when the distributive property is going to come into play. Let me put it up here so it'll be less distracting. So if I do the distributive property, that means my new equation up here is going to be a negative 2x. Negative 2 times 2y gives me a negative 4y. And negative 2 times 7 gives me a negative 14. The equation that we have original, I'm just going to slide it right underneath. Okay. So now, I don't need this side. I just need to focus on this. So with these two equations, I can add them together. Because when I add them together, just like how we used to do back in the day before algebra kind of critically gave us some kind of mental disorder, we have negative 2x plus 2x, that gives us 0. That's what we wanted. So now add these two together. Negative 4 plus 2. So you owe me $4. You paid me 2. That means you owe me $2. Bring down the equal sign. Negative 14 plus 13. You owe me $14. You paid me $13. You still owe me $1. So now I want to get y by itself, and I have negative 2y. That means negative 2 times y. So the inverse of multiplication is division. So negative 2 divided by negative 2, that gives me 1y. You could put the 1 there. That's fine. It's understood to be there because it's physically 1y right there. Then a negative divided by a negative will give me a positive 1/2. Okay? So this is what I'm going to say to you, especially with system of equations. One, GED, you need to do at least one of these because system of equations is a 4-point question. If you can do something with slope, equation of the line, system of equations, even factoring, if you get a couple of those correct and you do a very good job with the basic math, you will pass the GED. And I know a lot of people, the ones that are just missing it by 3 points, missing it by 5 points, even some that are missing it by 10 points, I can tell that it was either slope or equations of the lines that bit you in the butt. You probably skipped it. Okay, you're not going to pass if you skip those. Okay, so just the GED, everything is ranged from a 1, 2, 3, or 4-point question. 4-point questions is your slope, equation of the line, lines of parallel and perpendicular lines, system of equations, factoring, radical expressions, okay, multi-step equations to a certain degree. But a lot of your 1-point questions is like 1/2 plus 3/2. That's a 1-point question. Okay. Knowing your price change, knowing your percentages, that's like a 2-point question. Okay, depending on what the percentage is. Okay. So for T's, you have almost all of this, but you weigh heavy on what's called proportions, because you have to do a lot of proportions for your math. So proportion is like a fraction equal to a fraction. Okay? Because I did. Yes, I know. I know a lot of people need this. But trust me, during the week, oh, why are you doing this? This is so boring. Oh my gosh, it's the summer. What are you doing? But I keep pushing because only God tells me what to do. All right. So 33, let me zoom in. All right. Okay. So we have 5 over 6a minus 2 over 3a squared equals. Okay. I know all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, I'm about to freak out. No freaking out. Okay. No matter what's in the denominator or the numerator, they're still fractions. First step you should be looking at is in between. Okay. It's subtraction. So that means I need to have a common denominator. So over here, I have 6 and I have 1a. Over here, I have a 3 and I have basically 2 a's because a times a gives me a squared. So in order for us to have that common denominator, I need to look at what is the highest or what is the least common multiple that 3 and 6 have. So I know in the 3 times table, and if you don't mind, I'm going to write it out on this piece right here, just for a second. So I know the 3 times table is 3, 6, 9, 12, and I can stop right there. I know in the 6 times table, almost forgot. Well, no, we don't need the 1. In the 6 times table, we have 6, because I always, including myself, get lowest common multiple and GCF mixed up. And sometimes I have to pause and get myself back together, okay? So I got 6, 12, 18. I'm going to stop right here. Now, what is the lowest number that they have in common? Put that in the chat. or no? Yes. Good. Almost, Deidre. Almost, Dee Dee. Almost there. Good. We got sixes. We got sixes, Jules. Sixes. Yes, Danny, sixes. Not, there's no fives. Not 12. 12 is the highest number. But we want to kind of get, we don't want to get it that expanded. Okay? 6 will be your best bet. Okay? The least common multiple. Okay, I should say it that way. The least common multiple. Yes, they both have 12. But the least, you can go from 6, then go up. 6 is going to work best for you. All right? So, what I'm going to do with the A's. All right? This one has 1A. This one has 2 A's. Okay? I'm not trying to reduce. Okay, a lot of people keep thinking I'm trying to reduce, but I'm not trying to reduce. So in order for me to get my common denominator, and my common denominator is going to be this. It's going to be 6a squared. And you're like, what? So we got with the agreements with the 6. But we're not trying to make it smaller. So the trick when we're factoring, we always pick the variable with the lowest degree. But when we're doing this fractions, we want to pick the one with the highest degree. Okay, we want to pick the one with the highest degree. So now, we have the 6, we have 1a, but we're missing another a to make it into an a squared. So guess what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to multiply your denominator as well as the numerator with that a so we can have that 6a squared. Whatever you do in the denominator, you must do in the numerator. So my new numerator is going to be 5a. Okay. Okay. We want to change that 3 to a 6. So in order for me to change this 3 to a 6, I need to multiply it by 2. It already has the a squared, so I don't have to do anything with the a's. But whatever I do in the denominator, I must do in its numerator. So my new numerator is going to be a 4, because 2 times 2 gives me 4. All right. So we have a common denominator. Now we can actually subtract. And you're probably like, but it's not giving me a number. Perfect. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to give you this lovely ratio. So we have our 6a squared, but it's going to be over 5a minus 4. We can't do anything with 5a minus 4. We can't. There's nothing that 5, 4, and 6 have in common other than 1. So we can't do anything further to it. So this is your answer. So 5a minus 4 over 6a squared. That's a tough one, especially if you haven't seen factoring since you were a fetus. Okay? You're like, girl, you're making me do stuff I haven't seen in years. Now, this is when it starts getting a little bit more advanced. Okay? Let me slide that over so people, actually, let me make it a little bit smaller so people can get everything. Okay? All right. It's okay. Like we all know, fetuses grow into things, right? They don't stay babies forever. I know you want them to. They smell so good. You love them, except for when they're crying like crazy. But then they give you them moments when they smile at you and you just love the baby. Yeah, but then they grow into something that you're like, what is that smell? Why? What, did you shower? What's happening? What is going on? Right? Don't act like I'm by myself. I know, we all know. We don't want to admit it. And you're just like, why are you in the kitchen again? Okay. All right. So, key thing. We had to have a common denominator. That's the key thing. So we need to find the least common multiple. So we had to take and figure out our multiples, and we're looking at that denominator because we wanted our denominators to be exactly the same. So we did, what was our multiples of 3? What was our multiples of 6? 3, 6, 9, 12, 6, 12, 18. The least common was the 6. So we didn't have to do anything with the 6 for the first ratio, but this had an a, and we needed an a squared because we want to go with the highest degree. The highest degree was your a squared. So we had to multiply the first ratio by a. Whatever you do in the denominator, you do in the numerator. That's where the 5a came from. So then we had to change the 3 to a 6, so we had to multiply by 2. Whatever we do in the denominator, we did in the numerator. That's where the 4 came from. And then you just do your operation, which was 5a minus 4, and put it all under the same denominator. Okay. All right, we got this and possibly another page, and then we are done for tonight. Okay. You can't do cross multiplication. Who said that? GM, we can't do cross multiplication because it was subtraction. Okay, you can only do cross multiplication when you have a fraction equal to a fraction. When you have a fraction times a fraction, you're doing cross simplification. You're simplifying, making things smaller. Okay, do we factor it? Yes, Desi. Yes, yes, yes. So in order for it to be a function, it has to be a 1-to-1. Not 1-to-1, sorry. Your x's can't repeat, sorry. Giving the wrong terminology. Okay, so we are going to factor. So I got one person saying A is our answer, another person saying B is our answer. All right. And remember, if you're not sure what it is and you want to participate, put a question mark. Trust me, this is not Squid Games. We're not going to X you out just in case you didn't know it or you got something wrong. This is a place where I tried to kind of teach a little bit, try to break some things down, and be able to break things down in concepts. Okay? So, Jules, what's factoring? So we're going to have to start in the very beginning with you. So actually, I'm going to be doing factoring tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, okay, for my live. So I'm going to clean some things up since they got rid of the subscription plans, and now they have something called Superfans, and I want to do a little more research with that and see what happens to my people that are currently in my subscription. Do they just move over to that? What's happening to that? So I know October 1st, there's going to be a lot of changes. So, okay, how y'all getting anything but B? All right, well, let's see. Okay, first thing, I'm looking at my numerator. I see a B squared and I see a B. I'm seeing a 9 and I'm seeing a 3. So right now, I'm a little triggered. And why I'm triggered, not in a bad way, is the fact that I know that 3 and 9 are both in the 3 times table. I know B squared is the same as saying 2 B's and there's 1 B there. So I have a GCF. So that means my greatest common factor is going to be 3b. Okay. So with that 3b, what I'm going to do to fill inside this parenthesis is I'm going to take the original and divide it by my GCF. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. B squared, so that means I have 2 b's. If I have 2 b's here and I pulled out 1 b, that means I got 1 b left. Okay. So I have this negative 3. Yes, I know it's a minus sign, but it also has a negative for this 3. So I have negative 3 divided by 3. That gives me a negative 1. And if I have 1b here and I pulled out 1b, that means I don't have any b's left. So I don't have to put anything down. Okay? So that is the factoring of our numerator. It's basically doing the distributive property in reverse. So now we're going to focus on the denominator. The denominator is simply 3b. Okay, that's a monomial. There's no plus sign or minus sign there. What do you notice? There you go, random. Okay, you're back now, Danny. Good. Okay. All right, they cancel. They cancel. All right. We could that way. Remember, there's more than one way to do all this. So we cancel the 3b and the 3b. And what's left is our 3b minus 1. Okay, which gave us, which gave us our b. All right, now that's one way of doing it. Another way is let's take a look at the original. Okay, let me cover this up for a second so you can focus on it. Now, for the original, I notice that all 3 spots are multiples or inside the 3 times table, right? Couldn't I just reduce all the 3's by 3? So 3 divided by 3, that'll give me a 1. 3 divided by 3, that'll give me a 1. 9 divided by 3, that'll give me a 3. Now, they all have b's in common. Okay, this only works when they all have something in common. So b divided by b will give me 1, cancel out. There's 2 b's here divided by a b. That means there's 1 b left. So I could, from here, I'm going to bring it over here, say what's left is 3b minus 1. And we don't need the over 1 because anything divided by 1 is itself. Okay. All right. Okay. So there's more than one way. That's why I don't disagree with my fellow teachers, but I love when I try to give my students, if they figure it out themselves, like, oh, I figured another way out. And sometimes a student will show me that. Like when I was in the classroom, I would be like, yeah, I know that's there. But, give them a little, right? So they go up there and they're like, I figured that all this is divisible by 3, so I just did boom, 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 and then all the b's cancel except for this one, boom, 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 and then I got my answer, Awesome. And to give them more praise, you knew that happened, but to give them more praise, I'll be like, all right, let's call it whatever. Let's call it the Travis way, if it's Travis, or if it was Sarah, let's call it Sarah's way. You can do it my way, or you can do it Sarah's way. You guys pick. Give kids that encouragement, people. Please. Please, please, please. Okay. Where you factor out the numerator. Yep, you can do that. Right? So there's always multiple ways of doing things. Okay, multiple ways. All right, let's try one more page. How are we doing? Okay, there's 353 or 48. Okay, get back here. We're not done. All right. So I was about to say I want to, but I might have to get going soon. Okay. Would you please do not cancellation again. I can do it anyway because some people like it that way, some people don't. All right. Okay. So, people, this is where I'm going to have to skedaddle because I do have a client at 8 o'clock my time. I know. Everyone's having so much fun. But this is what's going to happen. I'm going live 2 times tomorrow. All right. So the first time it's going to be, like I said, we're going to do GED at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be working on factoring. Okay, so you're more than welcome to come in. It's going to be a freebie. So just come on in. We're going to break some concepts down, and I'm going to take you through step by step. Later on that afternoon, I'm going to be doing like a birthday celebration. So I'm going to be really hitting on, I think I said either ASVAB or, no, I was going to do some more GED practice. So what I do is I put some GED problems up here, just like how we did over here, just basically go through step by step, random stuff, and we break stuff down. That is going to be at 2 p.m., but it's going to be a birthday one. So I'm not going to be here at 7, okay? I'm going to be here at 2 because afterwards I'm going to celebrate my birthday a little bit. Take myself out for some lunch. Why not? No one else is taking me out, so hey, what the hell? But that is going to be, if you want to celebrate me, if you want to tip your teacher, that would be the perfect time. So I'm going to have it all situated. If you want to tip me or gift me, gifts are really, I appreciate it, but TikTok takes way too much out of it, and it's just very disappointing. Like, I can't even get a stick of gum with it. Like, it's really bad. But if anything, just come on in tomorrow. Again, even though I'm doing it GED focused, it's also good for UT's tests that are taken for Algebra 1. It's also good for the ASVAB people that are taking their algebra piece of the test because it's basically the same concepts that they're splitting it into smaller chunks. All right? So, thank you so much. Yeah, I can't have lunch with Mom because my car can only drive up to like 2 miles before it starts overheating. Yeah, so it's just going to be me, myself, and I. I'm perfectly fine with that. All right, so if anything, before you guys skedaddle, I usually do a lot of my stuff inside of my notebooks. I have these organized private notebooks that you can put your formulas in one section, your steps in another, and then it gives you room to actually do work on either side. It's all based and is really basically designed for math only. Okay, you can do it for science, but it's really designed for math. So this is what it looks like as a blank. But what's also very intriguing is that I have resources in the very back of the book. So we have a factor sheet. So if you are not very good with factoring and you need to know your factors from 1 to 200, I got you right here. Also, we have like our order of operations. We have our perfect squares and cubes as well as their cube roots. So that's part of my newer book. The rules of integers. We also have linear and quadratics. We're looking at order of operation, not only in the States, but also internationally. Properties of exponents. We got decimal operation as well as fraction operation. So this one is designed for Algebra 1 and algebra. Okay, system of equations, system of inequalities, okay, areas, also volume, surface area, and last but not least, the conversion chart. Okay, so this one is designed for Algebra 1, 100 plus pages for you to take notes. So Algebra and Algebra 1, this is your book. Then I finally got it today. Yay! My Algebra 2 pre-calculus. Same design, okay? Just got it real fresh, can smell the newness, all right? But there's some similarities, but there's also some differences. So again, you have your factor sheet. Then this is what's different. We have talk about complex numbers. Okay, we have our conversion charts. We have our fractions because some people still have trouble with fractions and the rules of integers. But then what else is different? We have our logarithmic to exponential, the rules with that. Also, the system of equations with examples of the substitution and the elimination, a lot clearer. Then we have the area and perimeter, just like the other one. But this time we talk about acceleration, and then we talk velocity and time and their rules as well. Then we get more into like the pre-calculus with the conic sections as well as our unit circle. So that's when you get into more of the advanced math. You still have your Pythagorean theorem, you still have your trig, then you have your sine and cosine rules, then you have your sine and cosine waves, and also, their domain, their range, the amplitude, all of their rulings. So it'll kind of help you out for point A, point B. The trig identities, so you're going a little bit deeper. And then, Pascal's triangle, okay? Just to really kind of get you down and dirty with that. And then some samples of it at the bottom, okay? So, yep, this, like when I say it just literally just came today. Been waiting for a couple of weeks for this, but it's here. And so I also, if you're left-handed, I got you my left-handed edition. Notice how it opens. Oh. So for all my lefties out there, no more trying to rearrange your arm just to do some writing. Okay, it's been like lefty approved. Okay, so you have your left-handed edition. Again, this one is for Algebra 1. All right. Yeah, thank you. Okay, not a problem. Do I have a website? Yes, I do. You can actually find it, and I can't say the verbiage because TikTok will take me down, but you can actually find it. Okay. Now, it is, all these books are on the A, you know, the brown box with the smiling face, but till just for the month of September, all of these books, all of my books are on sale for $10.29. If you go to my Service Plus link, you should have all the links. So links to all of the stuff that you're asking for. Okay? Of course. Yeah, I know. I know, it's so crazy. I've been dinged so many times this week and last week. I was just like ready to give up on my TikTok account because I'm like, okay, I just saw a video of some man throwing a baby out of a window of a moving car. Oh, no, we're going to keep that going, but you're worried about me talking about this. Ridiculous. Okay. Aw. There you go. There you go. Yep. I know. I never had one either, Danny. I know. We're out here. Okay. All right. So I got to get going. If you have any questions whatsoever, please do not hesitate. And if you do need to see the replay, there is a link to this. Just go here and type here. Okay, and you can see the replay. But this replay, give me a couple of hours because after my session, sometimes I would, what would I do? Sometimes it'll just take TikTok a while for me to download it. I don't know why, especially on the weekends. All right. Okay, everyone, have a lovely evening. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow and we can sit here and celebrate. Elba, have a wonderful birthday, and everyone else have a great night. Please stay safe because I don't have bail money. So yeah, okay. Take care. Bye now.